that he was working on power and propulsion, right? So of one of these, we call them flying saucers, fucking alien vehicle.
That looked like this one.
Exactly.
Right here from Design by Perry.
Yeah.
The one sitting on the desk.
Even like aerospace people are like, well, if it's the most ingenious thing is the way he described it, powered. People are like, impressed by it. I'm like, maybe that's just what he saw. But anyway, so the 115 was the power source, he said. And basically, you put it in and it releases antimatter and creates a gravity propulsion, a gravitational field. And then you had three directional emitters. Look, that's how they think these things operate. Traveling faster than the speed of sound with no sonic boom, all transmedium, all domain. These things seem to defy typical propulsion. It's not outside of the realm of what we understand. It's outside of the realm of what we can replicate now. One day we might catch up.
And this element 115 that Bob talked about powering this spaceship was only theoretical back in the late 1980s when he first started discussing it.
Right. We hadn't synthesized it yet.
Right. Well, it wasn't a synthesizing. It was created by a particle accelerator, right?
Exactly.
It was detected because it was. I think it was.
But we smashed.
Right.
So we kind of synthesized in that we smashed particles together, and then we're like, oh, for like a second, there it was.
Yeah, I think it's a fraction of a second.
Yeah, and Bob always said that if he's right, if it was 115, that's how he understood it to be. If he's right, then we will someday, be able to make a nominal amount of it that will be stable. That's what he says. You got another one of those?
Yeah, you want one?
Yeah, we'll try one.
All right, here we go.
Thanks, man.
Nice. Yeah, the whole thing is just so interesting, man. It never ends.
Yeah, it never ends. It is interesting. I just
until something actually happens, and my thought is when something actually happens, how will people handle it? UFO whistleblower could get immunity under new amendment. So this is what you were talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, the thing is I know some of the people doing this, and they're like, they want some nominations, man. Who should talk to them? Well, you got your own fucking logo on it.
There you go, buddy.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, these are Foundation Cigar, JRE cigars. They're good. Shout out to my friend Nick from Foundation Cigars, too. Hooked me up with that cabinet. Got a full humidor up in this bitch now.
Wow. Thank you.
So this element 115.
Yeah.
This is proven by a particle accelerator. And Bob Lazar's claim was that they had a stable amount of this element 115 that had come from this other place. And did they know where this other place was, where this element 115 supposedly had come from? Another planet?
Yeah, I mean, again, this is like what he was told, so he's kind of allergic to, but, he said that the documents said Zeta Reticuli, I guess a binary star system or something. That's what were in the documents. Now, if that's true or not, look, remember, he thought it was the U.S. He thought this vehicle was ours.
Right.
And then until he walked inside of it. That's his whole thing. It blew him away. It's hard to buy what someone like Bob is telling you if you don't know the person. You see people in their lives, man.
Imagine being him and that actually happening to you, and then you having to go back to reality.
Right.
And tell people or not tell people, just live your life and have the burden of this information, the burden of this thought. Just turn upside down the other way. There you go. Flip the top.
I got to flip the top.
There you go, and then pull down.
Brother.
I mean, the burden of that kind of information, when even discussing it, you seem like such a psycho.
Yeah.
Most people almost instantaneously, other than a real journalist like George Knapp, most people are going to think you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah. They just dismiss you.
Yeah.
Why would you even do it? Like, what would be your motivation? What would you get out of that?
Well, his motivation was he was seriously worried that they were going to take him out.
Yeah.
Because he knew so much, and they had cut off of his... For folks who don't know the whole story, just give you a brief synopsis. What happened was Bob allegedly, was working on back engineering these aircrafts, these vehicles, these spaceships. And in doing so, you have to have a very high level of clearance. Well, with that high level of clearance comes complete government surveillance.